introductions are really, really lame. But String, good sir, thank you for joining me for the chat.
My pleasure.
I guess the first thing, just to kind of get the ball rolling, is what's been happening in the world of the Amity Affliction lately? Where do you find yourself right now?
I guess we find ourselves touring a lot, and off the back of our recent album, our 5th album, we're kind of just writing and looking towards the next album at the moment.
And then you look to next year, and we've got you as one of the main exciting points for UNIFY 2018, and you're doing something a little bit different, I guess, for both you and for current fans of the Amity Affliction as well. I was wondering, like, in your own words, what would you say you are doing in UNIFY next year?
Well, we've decided to play some songs off every album we've done. Yeah, we're going to bring back some old ones that we haven't played for, or maybe never played, and just to kind of keep everyone happy.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And so, this is, obviously then you'll be playing a lot of songs that really kind of solidified where you are today. And so, I guess I quickly wanted to kind of go back to the start. If you're looking at these, earlier albums that you're going to be playing songs off, and possibly the last time anyone will hear them live. Starting from that point, what would you say was the first point you realised that you were no longer, a boy from a small town in Australia somewhere, and this is... What was the first point you realised there was something more to the Amity Affliction than just another local band?
I don't know, I think, after the first time we recorded our first EP, I thought we were doing big things. I always had a vision in my head of where I wanted to take the band and how far we wanted to push it, and I was working as a scaffolder all the while, for 7 years to be exact, and I think the turning point was when after we'd recorded Youngbloods and I went back to work, and I was telling the boys, like, this is my band playing the radio, and they're like, bullshit, and I was like, no, I'm serious. And I was like, once this album comes out, I think it was like the first single of the album came, and I was like, once this album comes out, I'm quitting and I'm going to live in Melbourne. And they're like, yeah, right, whatever. And it happened, and I was still broke and just living. My girlfriend was paying rent for me, and because I was just touring so much off the back of Youngbloods that I couldn't really have a job. But she wanted to move to Melbourne so badly. I was like, well, I'll move if you pay my rent for a while until I get on my feet. And then after that, I just kind of went, well, this is our job now, being in a band, and that was when it kind of, the turning point where I was just like, we've made it, kind of thing. Even though we were still struggling to eat food and pay rent, but that was like definitely the point in my life where I was like, yes, it's all uphill from here, or downhill, whatever way you want to put it.
Well, what was it about? I mean, you keep saying Youngbloods as kind of that point. What do you think it was about those songs in particular that really resonated beyond just that core group of fans that you had? What was it that took it to the next level for the fans that were listening to it?
I think it was a combination of us actually giving two shits about writing the best songs we could, because there was a period in our career, I guess, where we kind of put partying and touring and having fun over, content, and we would just kind of go, yeah, that's a pretty good song, that'll do. And I think with Youngbloods we kind of went, no, we've got to make this better, and just kind of write the best songs we could possibly write, and going to an overseas producer, going to New York and recording with one of metal's finest producers. He just brought out the best in us, and we couldn't believe it was so easy to work with someone, because that was the first time we'd ever worked with a producer who actually cared about our songs. Before that, we'd just taken our songs to a studio and they'd go, is that right? You want to try it again? No, okay, yeah, I guess. They didn't care. So this is the first time we worked with someone who tried to help us perfect our songs, and I think the proof is in the punch that was our miles ahead of Seven Ties. And we were just stoked that we could actually do that. We realized, wow, we can actually write good songs, and yeah, that was that, I guess.
Was there one song at the time that really stood out to you that maybe you attached to a little bit more than the other songs?
Well, yeah, Youngbloods I think was the one that I really liked because I wrote that song as well, and so it was my baby from the start. But yeah, that song I was like, this at the time I was like, this is the best song I've ever written, and I was super proud of it. And yeah, I think that was like the star song from the album still for me.
Well, what was it about that song? Like, if there's one thing you could pick out and be like, this is the reason that song.
I guess it's just kind of just anthemic and emo and like just, you know, it's an emotionally charged song, and I think anyone can kind of relate to it, and it's just kind of, even though I didn't write the lyrics obviously, but I think yeah, just they fit perfectly with the song, and it's kind of like a youth, angsty, anthemic, you know, everything's gonna be alright kind of song.
Yeah, and I mean, it's funny that you said that like everyone could attach to it, because I mean that reached outside of the metalcore as well. That went into the hip hop world for just a second as well in a slightly different way. So it definitely kind of transcended a couple of borders. But you know, I guess, you know, you take from Youngbloods to now, obviously you've grown as both a musician and a human being. So how have these songs from that time evolved for you in terms of meaning over the years?
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, much of the same, but in a, I guess, musically way of just trying to make better and better. Like every time we, you know, write an album, we just try and make, you know, the best songs off that better. Like, you know, the singles better, you know, the album in general better. But yeah, I think in general, we're always just writing the songs that we want to hear and writing the music that we want to listen to. I think that's the bottom line.
What was it originally then that, like, if we go back before the Amity Affliction, what was the first thing for you that made you want to follow this life?
I think, I don't know, just growing up in Gympie, there was really nothing to do. You know, some older kids that I thought were cool would always jam on parade and mess around in the music room, and I got really heavily into punk rock at the time, and I just wanted to start my own band. And I've been playing guitar since I was like 12, and you know, I figured out how to play most of the songs I was listening to, and I was like, this is easy as fuck. Anyone can do this. I mean, especially punk bands, I was like, if they can do this, I can do this. And that was basically it. They made it look so easy, and it really was, and to me anyway. And yeah, after that, I was just like, this is what I'm going to do, and I had no doubt that I was going to do it.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. So I remember, like, I tried my hand at bass guitar for like a year, and you learned Blink-182 songs because it was literally just like
4 chords.
Yeah, 4 chords. You just start again. You'd be like, oh, sick! I've learned the whole song.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Well, and then, you know, the Amity started. What was the original goal? Like did you have a plan in mind from the very beginning?
Yeah, I think we just wanted to be a band like Atreyu or Boys in the Well and just get as big as we could and play with those kind of bands as support bands and just kind of, you know, worm our way into the industry, and that's kind of what we did. I mean, we started playing at Mary Street nightclub, which was like the famous hardcore spot in Brisbane, and yeah, I remember the first time we played there, we was like, yes, we've made it, and then the goals just kind of kept getting bigger. We were like, all right, we need to play the arena now, and then we ended up playing, supporting Alexis and Underoath at the arena, and we were like, you know, that's it, I can die happy. And I think it just got, every time something like that, like a goal got reached, we just kind of, you know, made a bigger one or set a bigger one. And yeah, there was always, all the other guys in the band were always super driven as well, so, you know, I kind of just went along for the ride in that aspect and just kept writing songs, and yeah.
Well, how this is, I guess that's always one thing I've always been questioned about bands is when you get to the point that you've gotten to, you know, you're in the Hottest 100, you're touring the world, you're doing this, you're doing that. It's like what keeps you going in terms of goals at this stage?
You just want to keep breaking them, or, you know, just keep doing better and better. I think and if you do kind of slip up and, you know, something that hasn't happened where you weren't as good as the last one or whatever like that, even more driven to beat that again. So, you know, I think it's always about beating your personal best, like anything, like in sport, you know, you're always trying to do better, and I think it's the same in music. You've always got, you know, your goals, and once you break them, you set new goals, and it just keeps going forever.
What would you say the current goals are for you then?
I mean, I don't know. Apart from just writing a better record than the last one, I think our new goal is to write a different kind of record. Like, we're definitely experimenting with new stuff, and that's going to be probably the scariest part of a musician's career, is trying something outside the box and something that we haven't tried before. You know, because Amity's a very formulaic band. We've always kind of stuck to our, you know, what we know best, and trying little new things here and there. But I think for our next album, we're going to try and really like step the bar up and you know, kind of see what happens. But yeah, it is exciting, and I think we're going to be able to do it. Not easily, but I think it's definitely it's going to happen, and yeah, that's the new goal.
Well, that's sick. Well, I guess bringing it back to UNIFY, I mean, as you said, this is sort of an Amity retrospective, I guess you'd call it, over the years. What can people expect from that show that maybe they're not going to see anywhere else? Like why should they come and see you at UNIFY?
I don't know. I guess we'll be in a paddock with 8,000 people. It's going to be a hoot. I don't know. It's always a nice environment at UNIFY. Everyone seems to be like a big community of spirited youth. And yeah, I think whoever's on the stage doesn't really matter. It's just going to be a lot of fun, and yeah, we're really looking forward to it.
And looking at the lineup especially, I mean, we've got Parkway Drive on there as well. We've got Architects. I mean, you're just about to run to Europe with Architects as well. By the time this comes out, you'll be probably running around Europe with Architects. What is it about these other bands that you love playing with? What is it about sharing the world with bands like Architects and Parkway Drive that really inspires you?
I mean, in regards to Parkway, they were the first band that made us realize, Aussie bands can make it overseas. So, we're always been huge fans of Parkway. And Architects as well, really good friends of ours. We keep missing them, or we're playing like opposite days in Europe festivals. So very excited to be playing with them. Just super stoked to be able to share the stage with them. And yeah, we're good friends, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
I love that you say as well that you look at Parkway as like the band that makes you realise that Australian bands can make it overseas. Where I guarantee like 90% of bands look at you now and just be like, that's the reason. Like, I mean, literally, if you told me 10 years ago, like when I was watching In Name and Blood play to like 20 people, and I was just kind of like, yeah, that's an Australian hardcore show, that's cool. And then you're just like, oh, one day they'll be playing Rod Laver Arena. Bullshit.
Yeah.
There's no one that's going to be doing that. That's a lie.
For real.
And you are.
Yeah. Stranger things have happened on this.
Well, I mean, yeah, so this is possibly, I mean, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but possibly the last time that people are going to hear these songs, aren't
This
they?
will 100% be the last time you're going to hear a lot of these songs.
I'm sure you've got something special in the works. Can you tease me about anything special you might be doing?
Well, we're definitely going to be playing some songs off older records. Well, we're going to be playing a song or more off every single record. And we're never going to be playing some of them ever again. And I'd say about maybe 3 out of 5 records may be retired indefinitely. So if you're not there,
you just broke so many people's hearts right there. You just hear emo hearts around the world just shatter.
I'm just trying to be honest. That's my prerogative.
Well, then you've got to set the bar very, very high for your next album. That's just all people want to hear.
Well, it's going to be 10 tracks of absolute bangers, and no one's going to ever want to listen to anything else. So.
Well, I'll cheers you to that, man.
Cheers.